One of the biggest pieces of news with ImmunityBio is around the global approvals that they've achieved with their treatment ANKTIVA for bladder cancer. Global approvals in bladder cancer for ANKTIVA is now authorized across 4 major regulatory jurisdictions: the United States, the United Kingdom, the European Union and Saudi Arabia, encompassing 33 countries in total. And they've already demonstrated that ANKTIVA is in need and actually being used with these recent sales results that they've posted too. 2025 sales momentum resulted in a full year net product revenue of $113 million, representing an approximate 700 increase year over year. And ANKTIVA unit growth with 750% unit sales volume increase in 2025 compared to 2024. And this is solely for the bladder cancer indication in their pipeline right here, which their ANKTIVA treatment has been approved for. We can see right here that Yahoo Finance reported, ImmunityBio reported exceptional financial growth for 2025, headlined by a 700% year-over-year increase in net product revenue for its lead immunotherapy, ANKTIVA, which reached $113 million. This surge was supported by a 750% increase in unit sales volume and a 20% sequential growth in Q4, reflecting strong clinical adoption. And so the US would have been the overwhelming revenue driver for ANKTIVA in 2025, and perhaps a tiny portion may have come from the United Kingdom, but this would have been very small if at all. One of the key things to note is this 20% sequential growth in Q4 reflecting strong clinical adoption, and it can be served as a data point alongside the revenue results as well. As ImmunityBio enters these new markets, these 33 countries in total, naturally we have not yet seen sales or revenue results from these newly approved markets, with the real revenue typically expected to be posted in a couple more quarters once the distribution has been ironed out. Nonetheless, ImmunityBio have been known to move quickly. They've moved exceptionally fast in Saudi Arabia with the launch of their ANKTIVA treatment there, and they'll want to get to revenue in these new countries, these new markets that they've entered as quickly as possible too. One of the key things to note is they've already set up the infrastructure in these countries already. They have these commercial partnerships which they've announced too. Commercial partnerships have been formed, a distribution partnership with Accord Healthcare in the European Union with an 85-person sales force deployed across 30 countries. They've also established an Irish subsidiary in Dublin to support the European launch, and they've partnered with Biopharma and Sagala to expand access to ANKTIVA in Saudi Arabia too, with view of a further expansion into the Middle East and North Africa with a subsidiary based in Saudi Arabia too. And so I expect that the first detectable revenue should come in the second half of 2026, but the key story here is really the transformation of ImmunityBio. They're no longer a development stage biotech company. ImmunityBio have now achieved regulatory approvals across 33 countries, a commercial product generating real revenue, real sales metrics that we can see here, and global partnerships and infrastructure to scale globally too. Up until now, the 700% year-over-year revenue growth in 2025 was overwhelmingly US driven, and that's what makes this next chapter or this next phase really important for ImmunityBio. The international rollout across these 33 countries hasn't materially contributed to revenue yet. The growth we've seen so far has largely come from one primary market, the US market, and the company is only now entering the UK, the European Union, and Saudi Arabia in a meaningful way. And if the execution continues and distribution of ANKTIVA ramps up as expected, and if physician adoption mirrors what we've seen in the US with these revenue results, then the second half of 2026 could mark the beginning of international revenue for ImmunityBio, which is absolutely game-changing. Fundamentally, this would mark the transition of ImmunityBio from proof of concept to proof of commercialization globally, and to potentially global scale across 33 countries. And that's a very different investment profile to the company and where it was just a year ago. It would mark the transformation of ImmunityBio from a single product biotech into a global scaling immunotherapy company. The next chapter would then be getting approvals for ANKTIVA across numerous other indications in their pipeline, and achieving global reach with these approvals. Naturally, this would open up the market possibilities for the ANKTIVA treatment even further, and that's the kind of transformation that could fundamentally re-rate the company's valuation as it casts a net even wider across even more indications with global scale too. And so naturally, I'll keep you updated with the developments with ImmunityBio and all the other companies that I track on this channel. Thanks for watching, have a great day, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.